evening everyone, it is Christine here and I thought I'd better pop on because I've been having a bit of a play with my Roxy Journal of Stitchery down the garden path. This was the earlier piece that I created, in fact, as my first prompt with the moonlit, just pull it down so you can see it, the moonlit wildflower garden with all the dark sort of black based fabrics with the bright flowers on them, and then graduating down into this sunlit garden, so almost like the passing of time down the piece. And you'll remember I've done lots of beadwork and stitch work here and across this piece of fabric, which was a piece I'd got from Melanie, purveyor of Reclaimed Textiles. And I've had such a lovely time stitching the cats. In fact, just last night I was working on this cat, because luckily I hadn't actually done any further work down the piece. I wasn't sure how far I was going to go down, but now I've actually planned out how I'm going to bring all my pieces together at the end, because I'm pretty sure we won't be getting huge prompts for the next one. So I have a sense that I'll be able to integrate them either into these pieces or possibly into the way I'm actually going to then arrange all of my pieces together. So more on that later. But tonight I've been having a bit of a play with ribbon embroidery, which I haven't done before on the videos on here, and I really haven't done that much ribbon embroidery myself. So I'm just having a bit of a play, and I'm creating these tulips and this sunflower. So you can see I've done some yellow tulips. And this is for the prompt that we have for this 2-week period, which is your favourite flower or flowers or a flower garden. So it's perfect that I've got this piece of fabric to play on, and I thought, yeah, I'll stretch myself. I'll do something that I haven't done before. So I've done a number of the tulips. I've got another one started over here, but then I started to have a bit of a play with the sunflower, and I thought we could keep working on the sunflower together. So I'm just using some smaller bits of silk that I have. These were all secondhand. I got a bunch of them from a lady who was selling all her laces and silks and everything. And then I've also got a sort of a scrubbly bundle over here from Melanie, purveyor of Reclaimed Textiles on Instagram. So those need to be sort of detangled from each other, but the yellow that I'm using for the tulips is from that stash. So what I'm doing for the sunflower is what I believe in ribbon embroidery is called the ribbon stitch. So it's different to a straight stitch in that you do it like you're going to do a straight stitch, but then you're actually going to hold it down, and you're going to bring your needle back down through the piece of ribbon that you're holding down. So, and I've just caught my ribbon on my needle on the back. And then you're going to hold it just until you pull it through. And what you get is that lovely little slight sort of twist at the end that looks like a petal, just slightly folding over. Now I think I'm not going to follow the exact design. I think I'm going to put my petals all the way around and out, because that's how I want them to look. And so again, we just put our needle through the ribbon, which you can only do with sort of silk ribbons. It wouldn't work with a really bulky sort of ribbon, because you wouldn't be able to pass it through. So I'm using a relatively long and thick needle just to reduce the wear and tear on the silk ribbon. And I thought it might be harder to work with silk ribbons, but it's actually turning out to be quite easy to pull them through. Just as I say that, it sort of snags a bit, but no, it's going fine. So I think in the design there's actually another flower coming across this one, so I don't know if I now need to do that, or whether I think I'll just turn it into a perfect sort of just a consistently rounded one, and then we'll fill the middle in with knots or beads. I think that's what I want to do. So I'm popping up. Oops. And then I'm going to lay my ribbon straight. I'm going to hold it down, and then I'm going to pop back down through the ribbon, holding it down right to the end, and then let it go. So I'm sure there's other people that are more expert at ribbon embroidery out there, so I'm probably not the one to learn from, but I like to show you as I'm trying new things out, so you won't feel intimidated. You'll feel like, yeah, I can give that a go. Quite like with yeah, this Stitchery, you don't have to follow the exact design. If you are stitching onto fabric, you can kind of go, no, I'd like it to look a bit different. I want a different effect. So I'm going to hold that down, pop back through the ribbon. So I like how this is, yeah, the ribbon's giving it extra dimension down this sort of the foreground of the piece. So I like that effect. I guess I'll need to take the ribbon a bit further out for this petal. Oops. How far does this one go out? Oops, probably might have pulled that one just a smidge too much in. Let's just give it a little loosen. Good eye. So I think that is one of the tricks. You don't want to kind of be pulling too much with your ribbon. You want to still leave it with some texture on the surface. Now I've got a little twist. What's happened down here? It's like the ribbon's caught on itself or something. Not sure what's happened there. It's like a little thread has sort of wrapped around. I'm not gonna. They do say work with relatively short lengths of ribbon. We'll see how that goes when we get to that where that's going to go through the fabric. Keep going. Oops, we've unthreaded ourselves though. That's not good. Got my little sign up on my craft room, but even though I'm filming, I've actually got the door open because Travis the pup wanted to hang with me tonight, so he's just sleeping a little bit outside the door, and I didn't want to close the door on him, and he's missing me a bit because I had such a busy day. I think I'd flagged that I anticipated a very busy day or busy few days with work, and that has been that way. So I was virtually, yeah, door closed most of the day on the working front, just absolutely flat chat. So I wasn't sure I was even going to have energy to craft, but I don't know. It's when I'm doing my crafting, it's like there's this other energy that comes to bear. They always joke that like kids have a dessert stomach or an ice cream stomach, so they might not want any of the rest of their dinner, but they've got room for dessert. So I think I've always got a crafting energy, let's say. So this is where that little catch was in the fabric, but I think I'll be able to just position it at the end of this petal and we can then go forward without the problem. There we go. But yeah, it does definitely help to treat your silk threads quite delicately because they are quite fine. And yeah, not working with a huge length definitely helps to not create little pools on it. Just not tangle that other thread as well, which I always seem to do when I leave something else hanging at the back of my piece. So yeah, silk ribbons can be quite expensive. That's why I like buying them, yeah, secondhand in sort of bulk. Oops, no, I just went through the fabric. Does that matter? I'll leave that one just as a normal straight stitch. I forgot to put my little end knot in that one, but I don't think it does matter. Oops, and I've just forgotten to do it again. I think as we're getting towards the end, maybe I will just do the next few straight, or at least get one more in before I have to get some more ribbon. Maybe I can fit one more, although I think I've pulled that one a bit tight, but let's see if I can pop up through the fabric at the other end and fit one more stitch. don't know if I'll be able to do it with that needle. Let's see if I can fit this ribbon through my small needle. It's always the way, you want to get one more stitch in, don't you? It's like, I'll be able to do that. I think I'll have to fold my ribbon over double. So I hope you're all doing well. It's, yeah, Tuesday evening here. Feels like I've worked a whole week already, but that's okay. Booked in to go to the dentist on Thursday because I had the strangest metallic taste in my mouth, and one of my a tooth in my teeth felt really strange yesterday. Not achy or not sore or anything. It just yeah, had a really odd feeling to it, and this really weird metallic taste in my mouth. So I'm not sure what was going on, but I thought, no, I'll just go and have it looked at, because we have a little holiday planned in a few weeks and I don't want any mishaps getting in the way. So always better to get it checked. But besides that, but then today it's feeling absolutely good and no weird metallic taste. So I'm not sure. Don't know. Let's finish off our sunflower. So we probably don't need that much because we've really only got 2, unless I use any. No, I think I'll keep this one for the sunflower. So we only need 2 petals. So I won't waste too much. How much will we need? We need enough to come up through the fabric. Then we need enough to do a couple of stitches. Yeah, I think that's probably... And whatever I don't use in this will go in my little ort jar and can be incorporated into some lovely textural piece. And maybe I'll try and use my smaller needle, which just means I need to double it over. And so I haven't been tying, I think with the first piece I did on my tulip, I did tie a knot, but I haven't been tying a knot subsequently. I just take the first bit of ribbon through the fabric and then I just look underneath and leave a little tiny little end piece that I put my finger on, and then I proceed to do my first stitch. I'm being a bit cack-handed because I'm trying to hold, and I've just done a straight stitch there as well, haven't I? I didn't do the proper going back through the fabric, but that's okay. That one's nice. Stitch is nice anyway. Ooh, that one was a bit hard to pull through. Now this one I will do the proper going back through the ribbon. There we go. So yeah, we'll fill that all up with either little brown French knots or brown beads would be lovely as well. I don't think I need any more petals, so I will just, I guess I can then just tie this off perhaps. I'll keep that little piece over in my ribbon collection. And then let's just pick up, see if we can get any more stitches on our tulip down here. Maybe we can do one more. And so for these, I was just doing the straight stitch. Find this little ribbon is sort of gets a bit more twisty looked, so I'll just particularly because this one I probably started too long and so it got a bit more worn with all the stitches, but I'll just put a couple in and then we'll go over with a new bit of ribbon. It'll just sort of build up the texture. At least we'll get this ribbon sort of used. Oops, just unthreaded. I think this will definitely be the last stitch with this one. Yeah, probably using a shorter needle is good because then you don't need as much of the ribbon to pass through. I'll just poke that back through here. Take those little ends off. Okay, so we need some more of just this one, which I won't. Will I cut it in half, or is that's probably still too long? I think I only need about a third for each bit. Oops. Take that over there. So let me know if you've done ribbon embroidery. Do you enjoy it? Any tips and tricks? What's your favourite stitch or flower to do with your ribbon embroidery? So I'm just going to put a couple of the more looser and flatter ribbon stitches on this one, given that the other bit of ribbon was a bit more twisty. Sometimes hard when it's so fine to be able to see which way it needs to lay flat to the fabric. There we go. I think I need to put sort of a petal coming up the side, wrapping around like the tulips do. Definitely do love tulips. Love to, and I think I've got some that are in the ground that hopefully might come up again and flower in spring. Normally I do a big bowl border, but I haven't done one this year, so I'll just rely on what's there already. Oops, the green threads come through from the back. I'll just trim that off. Sorry, we were just getting rid of a green thread that was an intruder from the back of the fabric. Okay, just going to hold that. Fold it flat while we pull it through. And then what I'm just going to do is just lift it all up a little bit, just to loosen it a smidge. And that one's twisted. It looks like it's twisted a bit, but maybe it doesn't matter. I think I might actually redo that last stitch, because it's sort of twisting around in a way that I want it to be just totally lying flat. Or is it the one underneath? No, I think it's that one. Okay, let's see if we can get that one to go better. Okay, we'll lie it flat. Still got a little twist, but that's okay. Oh, that's all right. That one's fine. Okay, let's do the one above. Oops. Okay. Sorry, lots of concentration, so I'm stopping speaking. But given it's been just pretty much a worky sort of week, haven't got that much exciting to share. Although if you watched my video that I had scheduled that went live today, an amazing bunch of goodies from a Melbourne bridal shop that offers offcut packs, but just absolutely gorgeous. Whilst I'm not having fun here with my, there's another little tangle. It's like little threads come off the ribbon and then tangle around each other. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with this. I think I might have actually pierced my, I think I'll just need to chop that little end bit. It's just not wanting to play ball. But anyway, yeah, beautiful bunch of goodies from a bridal store in Melbourne here, Melbourne, Australia, with just the most luscious embellished fabrics, but also really useful tulles and silks. Yeah, gorgeous and huge pieces. Not what I think of as scraps. And if you've seen my micro scrapped pieces, nothing like that. Just absolutely amazing goodies. So I know some of you have already gone and done a little bit of retail therapy there. And then afterwards I let the shop owner know just via Instagram that I'd posted the video with my wonderful purchases. And yeah, she then very kindly shared a special sort of secret sale code that she has, that she's happy for my YouTube subscribers and commenters to have access to, and that's if you want to buy some of her meterage of laces or trims. So, and a very nice discount on those of 70%, which is amazing. But it doesn't apply to the scrap box that I got. But yeah, if you're interested in some even larger pieces of fabric, although I reckon some of mine we're getting on towards that sort of meter mark, at least on one of the dimensions. So it's nice to be able to promote people. And yeah, she's running a business where she's saving things from going to waste or total scrap and allowing those of us in the crafting community to access beautiful remnants. And I love the fact that yeah, her business is also based on getting sort of what they call dead stock or end of line items, and using those. So she uses them in her own creations, which then creates the scrap packs. But then she also, yeah, on-sells the dead stock fabrics to other creators and designers of wedding and other gowns. Oops, I've just pulled the needle out again, and I think we're getting to the point where I'll need to just put one more stitch in probably. And yeah, with this this thinner thread, it just tends to get sort of folded over quite easily. The other one was the slightly thicker one was a smidge easier to work with. Let's see if I can get one more stitch. You know me, one more stitch. It's like kids, one more story before bed. For me, it's always trying to get that last stitch in. Okay, so we'll leave that one at the back. Wonder if you'd like to, let's maybe do a couple of the pink ones, and then I'll let you go. So I've got two of these again. I think these were from the old lady who I got some various things from. I think this one looks like it's a bit thicker than, I'm not sure if it's too dark for what we want to do. Let's have a look. I suppose I need to take the plastic off. Let's have a look at it. It's definitely a lot thicker. How would that go? Could I do a whole tulip in one stitch, I wonder? Let's have a look. And if we don't end up wanting it, we can save that piece for something else. might use this slightly shorter needle. And yeah, if this doesn't work, we can do some in that other, oops, and I've got my needle stuck here. And for that needle, let's just poke them over here into the workbench. Okay, we just need to keep a little smidge of an end. Don't want to waste any of the gorgeous. So I guess I just want to pop it through at this end, but I want to keep the sort of the, shape. Oh yeah, I do like that as well. That definitely has, especially if I can sort of make it puff out a smidge on this side. Give it a little massage. Oh, that's great, I reckon. What do you think? I think I could definitely believe that's a tulip. Let's do another one. Okay. So I'll let it sort of stay a bit puffy. I won't hold it down as much when I'm pulling it through. And I think I just need to just let it puff out a smidge more as well. I just loved trying new things out. Sometimes I get a bit intimidated and think, oh, it's not gonna, I don't know quite what I'm doing with this, and will I do it? But I do. I really enjoy that process of stretching my comfort zone. And doing it on camera with you, that's fun. I think it's the needle that's struggling to get through this because it's quite a thick needle. Now I might need to hold, don't know how this one's going to go. I'll just take it out, and that one I think we've got a little bit twisted with our ribbon. Let's see. Maybe I'll just hold that while I pull it through. It's got a funny little bobble at the top, so I'm thinking we might just go back and redo that one. So maybe I do need to hold it a bit more flat. Okay, so struggling a little bit with this piece. It's a bit bigger than I'm normally used to working with. That's when I'm glad I've done sort of individual pieces, although this is 2 pieces merged into one with multiple additional prompts now on it as well. I wonder if I just need to give that another little tug and then just balloon it out a bit with my scissors. Yeah, these scissors are good because they're not pointy and sharp, so they're not going to pierce the fabric or the ribbon. Trying to see where the edges are. They must be sort of tucked under, I guess. But nope, I'm happy with that one. Now let's just make sure we're not twisted underneath, because I assume if the ribbon's relatively untwisted when you bring it through the fabric, it's probably going to make it easier when you're so I'm going to hold that. Where am I going with this one? We'll do this one up here. Almost poked myself as well. Almost did a bit of ribbon embroidery into my finger. Oh yeah, that's much better. Yeah, I think it's important to kind of get it sitting how you want it to be sitting when it pulls through before you do that stitch down. This one, I think I'd like it to sit a bit more out. I'm just going to re-loosen all of them as well, just so we've got that nice sitting out. Okay, let's just do one more. I don't want to keep you for ages tonight, but I thought I need to at least pop on and show you what I'm doing for this flowers prompt. But it's great because now I've got some tulips, which I absolutely adore in the garden. I might love my ranunculus as well, but I don't think I'll stitch those in. But I do love the sunflowers as well. But we didn't grow them this year because otherwise they attract the wild cockatoos to the garden, which can be quite destructive, quite funny as well. My partner actually used to feed them, and there was this one day where he wasn't yet up and I went downstairs and the entire balustrade out across the back garden was covered in cockatoos, and they were on all the sunflowers, all of the corn, and there was an entire tribe of them. I don't know what, a flock of them, I guess, because they're a bird. An entire flock of them also sitting on the neighbour's roof, including on their TV antenna, and sort of, yeah, almost swinging backwards and forwards. And I looked up and I saw that the neighbours were looking out their upstairs window at the shenanigans that were going on in the yard here. Oh my goodness. So, but interestingly, ever since we got Travis, yeah, the cockatoos haven't been as prevalent in coming back even to check what was in the garden. But they can be, yeah, quite destructive creatures, beautiful creatures. I grew up with my dad having a pet cockatoo called Lockie, and Lockie was Dad's pride and joy, and Dad would let Lockie out of the cage all the time, and Lockie would just sit in a tree in the backyard and kind of watch what Dad was doing outside. He did also love to chase our toes and feet when we were kids, and so yeah, Dad would let him out of the cage and he would just go scuttling around trying to grab our toes with his beak and making a squeal. But you know, he was a fun bird, and he used to dance to the music. Dad was very much into like Australian bush music. Bush bands were a big thing at that time. And Lockie the cockatoo used to dance to some of Dad's favourite bush music. So that was quite entertaining. But one day Dad had Lockie out and he was sitting in the tree, and then the wild cockatoos came flying into the giant pine trees that are behind Mum and Dad's house. And Lockie flew up to see them, and then when they came to head off on their way, Lockie decided that he was going to go and be a wild cockatoo. But ever since that time, and I'm sure Dad probably still does it now, even though it's many years later, when the cockatoos come around, I think Dad, yeah, wistfully looks up at the pine tree and wonders if Lockie or Lockie's offspring might be there. So it's kind of nice to think that he went wild. I hope he fared okay, having been a domesticated bird, but maybe in the flocks they kind of would have taught him how to forage. Certainly they get all the pine nuts which come from the pine trees. So maybe he just decided that was the lifestyle he wanted, the freedom. maybe a nice lady or something, nice lady cockatoo. And maybe there are Lockie's offspring out there somewhere. So I can keep working around. And I'm wondering if I will put, maybe I'll put some, maybe I'll use the other colour. What have I got? I've got a very light one from Melanie's, but I don't think I'd use that. Otherwise I've got this one, which I could do some at the back maybe, and maybe interspersed. Maybe that's what I'll do. But I think that's enough of you watching me play around with ribbon embroidery. Hopefully that's given you some ideas of different ways to approach it. So I'll need to finish off the yellow over here, need to do some beads in here, and then I'll have a bit of a play. I think I'll probably do some different stitching on the other flowers, and I want to just do a lot of the background stitching as well down of the foliage. I'll need to thread paint the cat over here and thread paint the cat over there, and then this piece will be ready. And if I get all that done, then we can actually start looking at how I'm going to assemble it, and it might give you some ideas as well if you're thinking about how you'll bring individual pieces together. If you've already got it as part of one big piece, or if you've already got it as part of a roll, it might be less relevant, although you could even apply it if you had a part of a roll but wanted to make it into a more substantial piece, because I'm going to be creating mine as two hangings on the doors of my cupboard in my craft room. That's where I've decided I want to put this piece. So thanks so much for watching. Take care. Hope you're having a good week, and hope the rest of the week treats you well. Thank you again to everyone that's made the effort to subscribe. I've had so many lovely people say that normally I watch on the TV, and apparently you can't subscribe on there or like on there, but they've turned on their computers or made the special effort to subscribe and like and comment, which just means so very much to me. You really touched my heart and made me smile with those comments, and everyone who leaves the comments. I just love it. I love interacting with you. I love getting to know you. So thank you so much.